There are reasons for your commitment to be made now. For as the rush of hours and days and months grows stronger, the will to commit grows weaker. Events soon to transpire on this planet will dry up the options for the lukewarm. For the issues raised by Jesus are irrepressible issues. The coming decades will be times of despair. Why? Because, as Moroni said, despair comes of iniquity. The more despair, the more iniquity. And unless there is a widespread repentance, despair will both deepen and spread, except among those who have gospel gladness. Alas, brothers and sisters, we likewise live in a time when the love of many will wax cold. Fear will therefore increase. Why? Because when men fear, it is because we are not perfect in love. The less love, the more fear, as well as the more war. Much sifting, therefore, will occur because of lapses in righteous behavior, which go unrepented of. A few will give up instead of holding out to the end. A few will be deceived by defectors. Likewise, others will be offended. For sufficient unto each dispensation are the stumbling blocks thereof. A few will stumble because in their preoccupation with the cares of the world, they do not have oil in their lamps. And again, those who refuse to eat their spiritual spinach will come off second when they wrestle with the world. Some, because of the scorn of the world, will grow ashamed and let go of the iron rod. A few who have not been saints, but merely tourists passing through, will depart from the path. A few, failing to be of good cheer, will even charge God foolishly. Such spreading pessimism does not necessarily mean back to the catacombs for Christians, or that secular Caesars will soon reopen the Colosseum. But already there are would-be Caesars who will refuse to settle for citizens who render to Caesar only that which is his, and unto God all that is his. The Lord described how he will bring his latter-day work forth out of obscurity and darkness. Thus, as foreseen, Christ and his work are becoming a light which can no longer be hidden. This emerging reality brings with it its own set of challenges and opportunities. For instance, though the gospel light is small, the adversary knows what it signifies, hence his disproportionate efforts to dim it. In the last days, in case you hadn't noticed it, discipleship is to be lived in crescendo. Our adversities and extremities will merely bring out the strong simplicities and the reassuring realities of the gospel. If ever a generation needed to be saved from itself, ours does. Surely these needs will intensify as the bewildered and beset nations of the earth, as foreseen by Jesus, wallow hopelessly in distress with perplexity. Future revelations, brothers and sisters, will include astounding events as well as great and important truths. So much so that Moses' and Israel's exulting song after safely crossing the Red Sea and the prophet Joseph's 1842 litany will gladly give way to the crescendo of glorious events associated with Christ's coming in majesty and power. The valley of Adamondiaman will ring again, this time with the sounds of dispensational reunion as it glows with gathering. We have surely been warned and forewarned about our time, a period in which the compression of challenges may make a year seem like a decade. Members will be cleverly mocked and scorned by those in the great and spacious building, representing the pride of the world. No matter, for ere long, he who was raised on the third day will raise that spacious but third-class hotel. Ours will even be a time of great inversion as well as perversion. Some will call good evil and evil good. Others, in their ignorance of spiritual truths, will speak evil of those things which they know not. He who analogized that the wicked are like the troubled sea which cannot rest also knows where and when, in latter days, The sea's tidal waves will heave themselves savagely beyond their bounds. Two especially interesting words are used in the Bible to describe Noah's time: violence and corruption. Violence and corruption, seldom strangers to the human scene, appear to be increasing today. Some of the coarseness and cruelty present at the time of Noah will be replicated, for the love of many will wax cold. Also, peace will have been taken from the earth. In the last days, happily, the church will grow extensively, with its membership being scattered upon all the face of the earth. Nevertheless, its dominions will still be comparatively small because of wickedness, which will close the ears of many to the gospel message. There will also be a great division among the people. This stressful polarization will, ironically, help in the final shaking of that strange confederacy, the kingdom of the devil, in order that the honest in heart, even therein, may receive the truth. Not only in the years ahead, but even now, mortal self-sufficiency will be confounded. Profound fear will eventually pervade this perplexed planet. Would that mankind could live in faith, not fear, and with gratitude, not forgetfulness. The last days will be rampant with the cardinal sins, just as in the days of Noah. Society in the days of Noah, scriptures advise, was corrupt before God and filled with violence. Corruption and violence. Sound familiar? Both of these awful conditions crest because of surging individual selfishness. When thus engulfed, no wonder men's hearts in our day will fail them because of fear. Even the faithful can expect a few fibrillations. Moreover, all his purposes will come to pass in their time. However, without these latter and other spiritual perspectives, see how differently we behave. Take away an acknowledgement of divine design, and then watch the selfish scurrying to redesign political and economic systems to make life pain-free and pleasure-filled. Misguided governments mean to live, even if they live beyond their means, thereby mortgaging future generations. Take away the regard for the divinity in one's neighbor, and watch the decline in our regard for his property. Take away basic moral standards and observe how quickly tolerance changes into permissiveness. Take away the sacred sense of belonging to a family or community, and observe how quickly citizens cease to care for big cities. Take away regard for the seventh commandment, and behold the current celebration of sex. The secular religion, with its own liturgy of lust and supporting music. Its theology focuses on self. Its hereafter is now. Its chief ritual is sensation, though ironically, it finally desensitizes its obsessed adherents, who become past feeling. Fatherlessness is the engine driving our most urgent social problems, from crime to adolescent pregnancy to domestic violence. Such outcomes, brothers and sisters, unfortunately constitute America's grossest national product, produced in the slums of the spirit, created by spreading secularism. In Proverbs we read, "For the commandment is a lamp. Once darkened, a society loses its capacity to distinguish between right and wrong, and the will to declare that some things are wrong per se. Without the lamp, our world finds itself desperately building temporary defenses, drawing new lines, forever falling back, unwilling to confront. A society which permits anything will eventually lose everything." I have no hesitancy in stating, brothers and sisters, that unless checked, permissiveness, by the end of its journey,
will cause humanity to stare in mute disbelief at its awful consequences. Do not, my young friends, expect the world to love the seventh commandment, chastity before marriage and fidelity after. Some people in the world will fret genuinely over the consequences of its violation, such as staggering and unprecedented illegitimacy and marital breakdowns. However, sexual immorality per se will still not be condemned by the secular world, as long as the violators have any commendable qualities at all, or as long as they are in some respect politically correct. We will have to keep the seventh commandment because it is correct, not because we will get much support from society's other institutions. Cultural decline is accelerated when single interest segments of society become indifferent to general values once widely shared. This drift is facilitated by the indifferent or the indulgent, as society is led carefully down to hell. Some may not join in this drift, but instead they step aside, whereas once they might have constrained, as is their representative right. Of such circumstances, Yeats lamented, "The best lack all conviction, while the worst are full of passionate intensity." For what happens in cultural decline, both leaders and followers are really accountable. Historically, of course, it's easy to criticize bad leaders, but we should not give followers a free pass. Otherwise, in their rationalization of their degeneration, they may say they were just following orders, while the leader was just ordering followers. However, much more is required of followers in a democratic society, wherein individual character matters so much in both leaders and followers. Granted, brothers and sisters, the world is in commotion, but the kingdom is in forward motion as never before. Its distinctiveness is being more sharply defined by adverse trends in the world, where traditional values are not fastened down by the rivets of the Restoration. They are sliding swiftly. Notably, at the last day, the adversary will not support those who followed him anyway. He cannot. Jesus will triumph majestically, and the adversary's clever constructs, pleasing to the carnal mind, will also collapse, and the fall thereof will be exceedingly great. Even now, one can see in the lives of the prodigals who come to themselves the devil's doctrines dripping in early meltdown. Many, having experienced the utter emptiness of the lower ways, are in a preparation to hear the word, and now await being informed of the rescuing revelations and translations.